I want you to get together.
Hello everyone. So this video is going to be a bit of my old style. I know many of you have probably come to my channel from watching me on podcasts recently, mainly with Sam Tripoli on Tinfoil Hat. I know a lot of you have come from there. Now you'll know me as the guy who talks about the Nephilim looking like clowns, and yes, that is a big part of my research. It's something I started in 2016. But prior to that, from around 2011, I've always kind of been in this game. Um, I am a conspiracy theorist first and foremost, and I obviously have researched a thing or two in those years before getting to the clown conclusion. And I suppose what I want to do today is kind of show you just the kind of stuff I like to make on the side. Now, I always make videos which basically cover certain topics as and when I see fit personally from my own perspective, you know. And I do like to cover old topics as well and make reminder videos in a series I call Remember, where I basically touch and glance over old topics which may have been forgotten. So that's something else I do on the side. But in the past, you know, around the 2012 build up to the end of the world period is when I kind of came into all this. Once I made my channel in 2014, I went all out, basically communicating with all the truthers out there and networking as hard as I can because I was all in, you know, and I wanted to know as much as possible, and I wanted to connect with those big YouTubers out there as much as possible, and communicate and talk with them and chat basically. And one major part of my work during that period was something mainly to do with trying to show other truthers. Sorry, I got a dog out there. Show other truthers how they need to be careful about the way they choose to present this information if they want to be taken seriously. So what I made was this weekly live show called the Truther Therapy Sessions. And today, this video is going to be kind of a taster for what that really entails, what my Truther Therapy Sessions are actually all about, in more of a short form video rather than the 2 hour long sessions I normally do every Sunday at 8 p.m. UK time. That's roughly about 12 p.m. Central Time, I think, or 2 p.m., 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So what I do in these Truther Therapy Sessions is I'd like to basically help other people feel connected in a form of community with other truthers and other people out there who are like-minded thinkers and in this conspiracy thought realm. Because when I first became a conspiracy theorist myself and a truther and got into this, you know, I very quickly made all the mistakes of losing all my friends and alienating all my loved ones and becoming very isolated and lonely as I kind of went deeper and deeper into all these crazy rabbit holes. And you know, waking up was the term then before it became this left-wing liberal concept of being woke, you know. It's way before all that was a thing. You know, waking up was basically learning that the Illuminati is real, the New World Order agenda is real, and, you know, we're all kind of being controlled. That's what waking up truly used to be, you know. And like I said, it was a very isolating, scary experience. And what I liked to do during that time was listen to other people just talk, a lot like what I'm doing now, because it was comforting for me to know that there were other people out there who also understood and saw these things the way I did. Because I certainly wasn't meeting people in my day to day life who I knew physically who were into this stuff and believed any of this. And that's what you want to do when you learn the truth, isn't it? You want to go and tell your friends and family everything. You want them to wake up. You want them to see what you see. You know, you want them to be not being whim to the control anymore, not being, you know, I don't know, blinded, I suppose is the word, not living such an ignorant life where they're just whim to the programming. You want to free them from it, you know, you want to pull them out the matrix, to use that kind of stereotypical overdone metaphor now, but it's still relevant, you know. You want to save them in a way. And through the process of doing that, it's quite typical to accidentally, you know, push people away. You can be quite forward with this stuff quite easily because you're so passionate about it, and that actually makes people think you're just crazy and obsessive instead, and it's not a good look, unfortunately. So a lot of my channel was basically about trying to train people in a way to be extremely careful with the information. It treat it like an antique. It's extremely delicate. And you don't go around just chucking the thing around in people's faces. You've got to handle it with care, be delicate with the information, because one wrong move and it's going to shatter and it's going to make a mess everywhere, and people aren't going to be happy with the mess that they have to clean up. It's just you've got to be very careful with this information. Another analogy is that truth is basically like a loaded weapon. Okay, and you don't just go brandishing the gun in people's faces. They don't appreciate that. When you start doing that, they'll be ducking and diving to get out of the way. Right? They'll be getting defensive and pulling out their shield and or weapon in self-defense against you brandishing yours in their face, and that's how powerful this stuff is. It's explosive. The truth is paradigm shattering. It's people have developed in their minds, obviously, a map of the world, let's say. Okay, they've created their way of traveling through the world and their perceived understanding of how things are. They've developed their own narratives and programmings in their brain to help them navigate through reality. And a lot of it is based on lies. It's based on suppositions and ideas and concepts which have been spoon fed to them through the system, which aren't true. But as far as they're concerned, it's the basis and foundation for their reality. And what we do when we start saying what we say and sharing our information and knowledge is we basically take a sledgehammer to their foundations. And not many people are grateful for that. And that's something we learn the hard way, because we come at it thinking we're giving them something that they want. We're gifting them with the truth, is what we kind of initially naively think of when we do it. But that's not the truth, really. What we're actually doing, like I said, is attacking them from their perspective. They see it as an attack on their home, their foundational beliefs, their basis for reality. And obviously, these are the people that will defend the conspiracy to the death in some cases. Some people are so heavily invested in the lie through monetary reasons that they will defend the lie. And you will be enemy number one, and they will do anything they can to discredit and destroy you. So you stop chipping away at their foundations. Because some people, like I said, are invested in the system monetarily and, philosophically, let's say. So my truth or therapy sessions are there for people who have kind of gone through those motions, learned all the harsh lessons about how to handle the truth and losing all their friends and family. And I like to give them a place to come and meet others and basically talk. And we talk through just knowing the stuff, basically. Now, my truth or therapy sessions have developed a bit since then. I usually give a presentation about some stuff I've been researching at the start, and then in the last half, the last hour, I communicate with the chat, and we have a back and forth. People ask me questions about topics and ideas, and we share them back and forth. So it's fun. I invite you all to come along to those. But I also have just started releasing episodes of something I've actually pre-recorded. I started recording them 3 months ago for Patreon only, as an early access, and now I'm releasing them episode by episode each week. And it's called Tips for Truthers. And it's basically, a quick, short 10-minute video every week where it just gives you one tip on how to handle this information delicately, on things you are going to discover if you've just woken up, things you need to know to arm yourself to deal with this reality in a productive, useful way, rather than brandishing a sledgehammer type of way, if you get what I mean. And I understand, trust me, I understand. I really do. The desire to want to have this attitude where it's like, no, these people are idiots. They need to wake up. I'm going to say what I want when I want, blah, blah, blah. That type of haughty, gusto, we'll call it. I get it. I get having that. And there's nothing wrong with it fundamentally. Okay, but there are consequences for doing it that way. That's kind of what I'm going to tell you, okay? And it's sad that's the case. I don't support that is the way it is. I don't like that that's the way it is, but that is the way it is. Okay, you have to be extremely careful with the way you tell people this information. And there are ways you can do it that will be more inducive to a positive experience, to an enlightening experience for those listening to it, if you, as an individual, present the information correct. Okay, so some tips that are in this series, but I think maybe worth mentioning now, is this thing I've repeated many times in other videos, and you probably hear me say it quite a lot, but it's really 101 lessons here. This is the stuff you have to know. Okay, people do not buy products. People buy the person selling them the product. Okay, so this is something I learned myself through working in retail and being a salesman, working in call centers as well, cold calling people. Um, I have experience in this, and it's just something I learned a long time ago that whatever your product is, whatever you're trying to get people to buy, whether it be with money or with their time and their consciousness, because at the end of the day, ideas are people buy ideas, they buy into them. Okay, so whatever that product is, or let's say idea is, people aren't going to just believe the idea just because it's a really good idea or because it's the truth. That's not how people work. And that's something you have to learn first, okay? You have to know that just because it's the truth does not mean that people are going to want to believe it. Right? The truth is a weapon. The truth is destructive. The truth is paradigm shattering. The truth is hard to deal with. And some people are just not going to do it. Whether it's the truth or not, they'd rather buy the lie. Why? Because the salesman for the lies, well, they're flashy. They have the TV, they have the models, they have all the money, they have the movies, they have the music, they have every means necessary to maintain the illusion at their disposal. So people buy it, people believe it because it's flashy. It might be a lie, but it tastes so sweet. It's so tantalizing to the senses. Why not just go with that instead? The truth hurts. I don't want to believe the truth. I don't want to know the truth. If the truth makes me like you. So this is the point of the method. If you don't come across as somebody who has it together, if you don't present yourself in a way that represents the truth movement well enough, people aren't going to buy whatever it is you're trying to tell them. Because they'll look at you ranting and raving and rambling and mumbling and screaming and pointing to all these crazy ideas, and they'll think, this person looks insane. This person sounds insane. This person is a mess. I don't want to end up like this person. Therefore, I do not want to know or believe whatever it is that they have learnt or come to believe. So do you understand what I'm saying there? That's how people truly are. That's how they think and feel. That's how people are emotional creatures. They're not really logical. I don't care what anyone says. If people say I'm purely logical like Spock or whatever, that's just not the truth. People are emotional creatures through and through. So if they don't feel good listening to the information you're telling them, and they don't feel good about you as a person, if they look at you and think this person's a mess and they haven't got their life together, and they also believe in conspiracy theories, then the individual you're trying to convince is not going to believe the conspiracy theories because they don't want to end up like you. Okay, so it's a sad thing, but people don't buy products. They buy the person selling the product. So you need to make sure before you go out there and start brandishing the truth as a weapon or trying to sell the truth to people, you need to make sure you've got your shit together. That's basically what I'm trying to say here. You need to make sure you're sober, that your own house is in order, that you've got your stuff together, that you are willing and able to present this information in a calm, cool, collect, and hopefully, possibly charismatic manner. Because you're not going to convince anybody of anything otherwise. Okay, don't rant, rave, denigrate, talk down to, put yourself on a pedestal, all that type of stuff. self-aggrandizing yourself as being awake, and all these other people who don't know the truth are asleep and they're just stupid sheeple. That kind of attitude really puts people off from actually wanting to wake up. Okay, it doesn't work. And I understand the proclivity to do that and to be like that. I really do. I do get it, but it's just not going to work. So I'm going to end this talk here. There's just a little sneak peek at the type of things I like to talk about on this channel. Okay, the type of things I like to share next to my actual research into conspiracy topics like the Nephilim clown subject, which, by the way, I am currently working on the next episode of, and I always will be working on a new episode of the Nephilim look like clowns, because there's always something new to discover and talk about. So that's coming soon, but for now I'm just going to release this little video. I do have another Remember series episode coming up very soon as well, which I'm just polishing off now. But other than that, guys, thanks for listening, and as always, God bless.
I want you to get together